Chapter 16. I take the lead, leaving what feels like the small safe haven of Dr. Sarah Khan's office and going back out into the potentially dangerous hallway, although I hope with all my being it's really not. Pete follows. It's right through here. He points to a door with the label Recreation Center directly across the hall from the office. Well, that's definitely inviting. More than anything else in this facility so far, anyway. I head over and open the door, revealing a short, well-lit hall that looks a lot like the first one but is totally free of dead bodies. Thank God for that, at least. And it's nice there's a place we don't have to turn the lights on ourselves, almost kind of like life saying, "Yep, right through here, guys, don't worry, it's totally safe." I really hope life wouldn't lie to us. We continue along the short hall and stop when we reach the end. To the right is a wall with a single door that doesn't have a label on it. Weird. To the left stretches a much longer corridor, adjacent to the main one we just came from. The light's on there, too. Thankfully, still no corpses in sight. A pair of large, open double doors extended along the middle of the right side of the longer hall with the word cafeteria above them. The lights seem to be on in there, too. Nice. There are two more doors on the right side of the hall towards the far end. Even from here I can see one displays a male symbol, the other female. Ah, bathrooms. Good to know. Finally, there's a door on the very far end of the corridor. I can barely make out its label from here. Nap room, I read out loud. That door all the way down there, it says it leads to a nap room. That's sort of weird, right? Pete shrugs. Maybe it was just a place for the scientists to rest, if they got a little tired or something. I chuckle, a sound that echoes lightly in the small hall. I guess. Sounds more like a kindergarten room if you ask me, though. And it definitely would have been nice to know about when we first came down here. Okay, let's go. Pete heads toward the cafeteria. Wait. I sidle up to the door without a label to our right. What are you doing? I just want to see where this goes. My heart beats a little faster as I open the door and peer into a dark room. The light from the corridor illuminates shelves on both sides stacked with stuff like mops, buckets, and what look to be a few unused folded-up hazmat suits, among other things. Ah, I say, just a utility closet. A pretty big one from the looks of it. I'm about to close the door when I spot something tiny jutting out from the wall on the right, barely visible between a vacuum cleaner and an old, dusty monitor. Looks like a button of some kind. Hold on a sec. I step into the room, reach between the two items, and push the object. Yep, a button. As soon as I do, the bare metal wall at the back of the closet slides open, revealing a small chamber like the elevator we took to get down here. Whoa, I cry. I can't help it. I rush over and peer inside. It also has a single button in the interior. Yep, definitely an elevator. Wonder where this thing leads, I say. Your guess is as good as mine, Pete says from right behind me. I didn't even realize he stepped into the closet, too. Almost seems like it's a secret one or something, though. Maybe there's another whole laboratory or other kind of room even further under the rest of the facility. Although, if there is, I definitely didn't see it on the map in Dr. Khan's office. Oh, weird. My stomach grumbles again. Well, maybe we can check it out later. Pete agrees, so we head toward the closet door. But something else catches my attention, and I stop again. A faded black binder with dog-eared corners sits on a bottom shelf, a label running along its spine. Important files, I read. Huh? Pete stops at the door. I reach down, slide the binder out from the shelf, and open it. The first page sports a table of contents, which I quickly browse. Employee names and contact information, check-in protocol, lab procedures, cafeteria and recreation center maintenance. The list goes on and on. These must be files important enough for Magnum Health to print out. Yeah, most of them sound familiar, actually. I think I saw them or even skimmed them on Dr. Sarah Khan's computer. I guess it's always a good idea to have a physical copy of important stuff, in case the computers fail or the facility loses power or something. I'm about to agree when one of the contents in particular strikes me. Emergency Alarm System Protocol. I look up at Pete. Did you see that on Dr. Sarah Khan's computer? Yeah, I think so. Did you read it? His eyebrows bunch up and then he shakes his head. I don't think so, but I read some stuff in there about her emails with the government, remember? I don't think so, but I read some stuff about it in some of her other emails with the government, remember? Yeah, but you didn't read the actual file. Maybe there's more to the emergency alarm system than we think. Something important. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I think there is something important in this section that has to do with the horrible atrocity that happened down here. We should read it, like, right now. Pete's body slumps a bit as if he's disappointed we're not about to eat, then straightens. Okay, let's do it. We don't even leave the closet. We stretch out on our stomachs beside each other on the cool, spacious metal floor and fan the binder open in front of us to the Emergency Alarm System Protocol section. Thankfully, it contains only a few pages, so it doesn't take long for us to read. We signal with a head nod to each other when we've read each page so I can flip to the next. The first couple pages are just about what happens if the power goes out or if there's a fire or something. Nothing too crazy. But then the info actually gets pretty intense. Basically, during the deadly, crucial phase of creating Super E, as soon as a single cell of the fungus breaches the laboratory door down the hall from Dr. Khan's office, the whole facility shuts down. Like, all the lights immediately go off, and the outer door, or elevator really, locks so no one can leave. And finally, loads of little black nozzles come down from all the ceilings and spray the entire place with a highly corrosive acid for a few seconds. Yikes, I find myself saying. This part's pretty hardcore. Tell me about it. We keep reading. Apparently the acid doesn't corrode the walls, floor, and equipment since they're made of the highest caliber steel and other forms of metal and plastic, but it does completely destroy any cells of the fungus hanging around, plus any human flesh, bone, and tissue it makes contact with, and it chews right through contamination suits too, so anybody in the actual lab itself can't escape it either. Oh God, I say after we finish reading that part. Well, this finally explains why all the corpses are sitting and lying around as if it's just another day on the job, and it explains why their bodies are especially waxy looking. It wasn't an emeraldite outbreak that killed them, but lethal acid triggered by the emergency alarm system when some of the fungus accidentally breached the lab area. I mean, that must have been what happened. Finally an explanation. I'd kiss the metal floor, but that'd be so cold and gross. Pete nods, still looking down at the binder. Yeah, looks like it. That's so tragic. Although definitely better than the fungus spreading throughout the entire world, of course. Then something hits me. Wait, we didn't see a dead body near the door to the lab area, though. Well, that's the one guy lying in the middle of the hallway outside it, but... Yeah, but he's not that far from the lab. He couldn't have been the one who accidentally brought some of the fungus outside of it, and by the time the acid sprayed, he was partly down the hall, or maybe even stumbling along a bit after the acid hit him, right before he died. Yeah, yek. A sub-zero chill cuts through me like the emerald veins do the park's canyon bottoms. What an absolutely terrible way to die. I can't even imagine. Same with even just plain working down here. Knowing one little accidental breach of the lab with the fungus by me or someone else would immediately cost us all our lives. Talk about a super freaky, stressful job. Pete and I look at each other and take a deep breath and finish reading the file. We learn that if someone does somehow survive all that crazy acid stuff and escapes in the elevator, an alarm goes off in the local police and government stations mandating they nuke the entire park to make absolutely sure the fungus doesn't spread, just like Pete and I figured. I closed the binder and we wearily climbed to our feet. It was more than mentally draining reading all that, but at least we now finally know what happened down here and that we're not in any immediate danger. That's at least enough to take the weight of this entire facility off my shoulders, anyway. Still, Pete and I need to find a way to get out of this godforsaken place safely. Then something else hits me, and the knots of tension build up in my body again. Wait, why were the lights already on in this area? In the short hallway out there and the longer one by the cafeteria and in the cafeteria itself. Didn't the file say a lab breach immediately shuts off all the lights? Oh yeah, it did. So if the acid alarm system was activated 20 years ago and killed everyone, how could those lights be on? Pete grinds his teeth and scratches his chin roughly enough to leave a red mark. I don't know. That slithery feeling kicks up again, and the hair on the back of my neck prickling. You know what? Now that I think about it, the reception area was pitch dark when we first came down here, but the lights were on when we came back, and I remember now I definitely turned them off before we left the first time. Oh yeah, that's true too. Pete stares off into outer space now like he's totally lost in La La Land, but I know he's really not. Somehow, some way, someone else has been in this lab in the last couple hours or so, and they came this way too. A horrifying thought hits me, and I flatten my free palm against the nearest cool metal wall, trying to stabilize my suddenly wobbly body. Oh no. What if... What if it's a policeman or somebody from the government? Like a super top secret agent who's been ordered to come down here and kill us. Like you said, they saw us enter the facility, and they'd have the password, right? Pete's far off look shatters. No, that can't be true. The emergency protocol file said nobody is to ever enter or exit this lab if the emergency alarm system is triggered, period. You know, because of how infectious and deadly the fungus is. Oh, right. Forgot about that. Well, that's another gigantic load off my mind. I remove my hand from the wall, every muscle in my body relaxing. But if it wasn't a policeman or government agent who was down here recently, then who was? It must have been somebody else from the park, Pete says, as though reading my mind. Or a visitor or camper or someone who got extremely lucky like us and got in here when the whole place was being nuked. Yeah, I guess you're right. That would be a good thing, too. Like an innocent person or a few caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, like Pete and me. But still, someone else happening to say that stupid password, Open Sesame, when they happen to be right next to the gray concrete square up there? What are the odds of that? Not very likely, but I guess it's possible. But what if, I say, what if whoever it is isn't a good person or people? What if they're like that weird, creepy couple up there who, died? Pete's face darkens as if a shadow's creeping along it. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's possible, but they're probably just as nice and innocent as us. Plus, the weird couple might have been good people too. Just, well, kind of creepy. Good point. Okay, let's head to the cafeteria then. I nod my head hard as if trying to convince myself that's the right plan. I probably am. Maybe at some point we'll find whoever's in here, and together we can all think of a safe way to leave. I place the binder back on the shelf and we exit the closet, carefully closing the door behind us. We head toward the cafeteria double doors. All right, I breathe as we go. Here goes. I can't stop the flapping of little wings in my stomach. There's a chance we might be meeting our mystery visitor now, after all. I can tell Pete's a little nervous too, since he blinks rapidly a few times, rubbing both of his elbows at the same time. I take a deep breath as we both carefully and quietly step up to the open double doors and peer inside.